hear me? There we go. All right. Please join me in a moment of silence to remember the fallen, the prisoners of war, and the missing in action to honor those who have served and are serving this great nation. Boy Scout Troop 150 will now present the colors.
Color guard, please present the colors. Troop salute.
Please follow me saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
Absolutely.
I pledge allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On behalf of Wreaths Across America and the Adelphia Fire Department, I would like to welcome you all to our first Wreaths Across America event to honor our veterans that are interned here at Adelphia Cemetery. Each December, on National Wreaths Across America Day, the mission to honor, remember, and teach is carried out by coordinating wreath-laying ceremonies at Arlington National Cemetery, as well as more than 2,100 additional locations in all 50 U.S. states, at sea, and abroad. The freedoms we enjoy today have not come without a price. Lying here before us and in cemeteries all throughout the nation, the men and women who gave their lives that we can live in freedom without fear. The United States was founded on the ideas of freedom, justice, and equality. Our nation stands as a shining beacon of liberty and freedom to the world. We thank those who gave their lives to keep us free, and we shall not forget you. This ceremony is our way to remember all of those who have served to protect our freedoms that we hold dear. Today, many of you here are veterans of war and conflicts who were called to fight for and protect the innocent and the oppressed. This nation has always been the first to stand up for the freedom of people all around the world. Many of you here today have answered that call and served your country well. We are here to say thank you. There are many men and women serving today in all branches of the military, here at home and in places far away that most of us have never even heard of. These men and women are part of the best trained, best equipped forces in the world. We honor them and their families for their sacrifices they make each day to keep our country safe from terrorism, hatred, and oppression. Quoting our 40th President of the United States, Ronald Reagan, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on to them to do the same. Or one day we will spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it was once like in the United States when men were free. Today we show a united front of gratitude and respect across the United States of America as we remember the fallen, honor those who served and their families, and teach the next generation the value of freedom. So why are we here? From the Revolutionary War to present-day conflicts, our veterans and devoted sons and daughters, fathers and mothers, sisters and brothers. They come from all backgrounds in life and place those lives on the line for our freedoms. Wreaths Across America coordinates wreath-laying ceremonies at more than 2,100 locations across the United States, at sea and abroad. This year, there are 85 ceremonies happening in New Jersey at this moment. We understand that we have Veterans Day in the fall, Memorial Day in the spring, but our service members sacrifice their time and safety every single day of the year to preserve our freedoms. In many homes, there is an empty seat for one who is serving or who has made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. There is no better time to express our appreciation than through the hustle and bustle of the holiday season. Morrill Worcester, the owner of Worcester Wreath Company of Harrington, Maine, was a 12-year-old paperboy for the Bangor Daily News when he won a trip to Washington, D.C. His first trip to our nation's capital was one he would never forget, and Arlington National Cemetery made an especially indelible impression on him. This experience followed him throughout his life and his successful career, reminding him that his good fortune was due, in large part, to the values of this nation and the veterans who made the ultimate sacrifice for their country. In 1992, Worcester Wreaths found themselves with a surplus of wreaths nearing the end of the holiday season. Remembering his boyhood experience at Arlington, Worcester realized he had an opportunity to honor our country's veterans. With the aid of Maine Senator Olympia Snowe, arrangements were made for the wreaths to be placed at Arlington in one of the older sections of the cemetery that had been receiving fewer visitors with each passing year. As plans were underway, a number of other individuals and organizations stepped up to help. James Prout, an owner of a local trucking company, Bluebird Ranch Incorporated, generously provided transportation all the way to Virginia. Volunteers from the local American Legion and VFW posts gathered with members of the community to decorate each wreath with a traditional red hand-tied bow. Members of the Maine State Society of Washington, D.C. helped to organize the wreath-laying, which included special ceremonies at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. The annual tribute went on quietly for several years until 2005, when a photo of the stones at Arlington, adorned with wreaths and bows covered in snow, circulated the internet. Suddenly, the project received national attention. Thousands of requests poured in from all over the country, and people wanted to help with Arlington to emulate the Arlington Project at their national and state cemeteries, or to simply share the stories and thank Morrill Worcester for honoring our nation's heroes. Unable to donate thousands of wreaths to each state, Worcester began sending 7 wreaths to every state, one for each branch of the military and one for prisoners of war missing in action. In 2006, with the help of Civil Air Patrol and other civic organizations, simultaneous wreath-laying ceremonies were held at over 150 locations around the world. The Patriot Guard riders volunteered as escort for the wreaths going to Arlington. This began the annual Veterans Honor Parade that travels the East Coast in early December. The annual trip to Arlington and the groups of volunteers eager to participate in Worcester's simple wreath-laying event grew each year until it became very clear the desire to remember and honor our country's fallen heroes was bigger than Arlington and bigger than his one company. In 2007, the Worcester family, along with veterans and other groups of individuals who had helped with their annual veteran wreath ceremonies in Arlington, formed Wreaths Across America, a nonprofit 501c organization, and continued to expand this effort and support other groups around the country who wanted to do the same. Their mission is simple: remember, honor, and teach. In 2008, over 300 locations held wreath-laying ceremonies in every state, Puerto Rico, and 24 overseas cemeteries. Over 100,000 wreaths were placed on the veterans' graves. Over 60,000 volunteers participated. That year, December 13th, 2008, it was unanimously voted by the U.S. Congress as Wreaths Across America Day. In 2014, Wreaths Across America and its national network of volunteers laid over 700,000 memorial wreaths at 1,000 locations in the United States and beyond, including ceremonies at Pearl Harbor Memorial, as well as Bunker Hill, Valley Forge, and the sites of the September 11th tragedies. This was accomplished with help from 2,047 fundraising groups, corporate contributions, and donations of trucking, shipping, and thousands of helping hands. The organization's goal of covering Arlington National Cemetery was met in 2014 with the placement of 226,525 wreaths. Wreaths Across America's annual pilgrimage from Harrington, Maine to Arlington National Cemetery has become known as the world's largest Veterans Parade, stopping at schools, monuments, veterans' homes, communities, all along the way to remind people of how important it is to remember, honor, and teach. Each wreath is made in a special way. 10 balsam bouquets, comprising each veteran's wreath, signifies the 10 special qualities that each veteran embodies. They are their faith in God, their love for each other, their strength, work ethic, and character, their honesty and integrity, their humility, selflessness, and modesty, their ambitions and aspirations, their optimism for America, their concern for their future, their pride in their duties, and lastly, their hopes and dreams that didn't always come true, but left them with no regrets. Each wreath that will be laid today has 4 parts, and each part has a special meaning. The evergreens signify longevity and endurance. The red bow signifies the great sacrifice. The forest scent signifies purity and simplicity. And the circular shape signifies eternity. We will now do the ceremonial wreaths, the 7 ceremonial wreaths. We have 7 ceremonial wreaths that are placed for each branch of the United States Armed Forces. Staff Sergeant Cecil Barnes of the United States Army will be laying the ceremonial wreath in memory of those who have served and are currently serving in the United States Army. Chief Gregory Player of the Adelphia Fire Department will be laying the ceremonial wreath in memory of those who have served and are currently serving in the United States Marine Corps. John Hedgie of the United States Navy will be laying the ceremonial wreath in memory of those who have served and are serving in the United States Navy. Second Assistant Chief Timothy McKay of the Adelphia Fire Department will be laying the ceremonial wreath in memory of those who have served and are currently serving in the United States Air Force. Chris Lamb, E7 of the United States Coast Guard will be laying the ceremonial wreath in memory of those who have served and are currently serving in the United States Coast Guard. Ex-Chief Jason Howlett of the Adelphia Fire Department will be laying the ceremonial wreath in honor of those who have served and are currently serving in the United States Merchant Marines. Lastly, ex-Chief and past President Maris Galblix of the Adelphia Fire Department will be laying the ceremonial wreath in honor of the 93,129 United States servicemen and women from all branches of the military whose last known status was either prisoner of war or missing in action. These individuals have never returned to their families or their homes. We shall never forget you. We encourage everyone here today who places a wreath on a veteran's grave to say that veteran's name aloud, if visible through the snow, and take a moment to thank them for their service to our country. It's a small act that goes a long way towards keeping the memory of our veterans alive. Remember that we are not here today to decorate graves. We are here to remember not their deaths, but their lives. Each wreath is a gift of appreciation from a grateful American. These live balsam leaves symbolize our honor to those who have served and are serving in the armed forces of our great nation, and to their families who endure sacrifices every day on our behalf. To our children, we want you to understand the freedoms you enjoy today have not been free, but have come with a cost that someday you may have to pay yourself. As a nation, standing together, we can defeat terrorism, hatred, and injustice. Thanks to our veterans, we have the freedom to just do that. As you go out and lay wreaths, please look for a jowl with yellow tape, which has been placed beside the headstone or the footstone of a veteran. When you arrive at the grave, you may encounter other items, such as grave blankets, that may have been placed by family members who are not in attendance. Please read that veteran's name if visible, pause and thank them for their service, and place the wreath. Do your best when laying the wreath to lean it against the headstone if possible. If there's no headstone, the wreath will be laid on the ground next to the footstone. Please leave the wooden dowel in the ground. Lastly, we have done our best to research and find as many veterans that are laid to rest here as possible. However, there is a chance that we may have missed somebody. If you know a veteran interned here that we missed, please see us afterwards, as we have a few extra wreaths for those circumstances. There are also a handful of veterans who we know are at rest here and cannot locate within the cemetery. Once the snow clears, we will attempt to find them once more. If we were unable to do so, a wreath with their name attached will be laid in a dedicated area in honor of their service and sacrifice. Again, we thank you all for coming to our first Wreaths Across America event, and your participation in our ceremony. At this time, we ask family members of veterans, or if someone has sponsored a wreath for a specific veteran, to come up and lay the wreaths now. Brave specific. At this time, all other volunteers can come up and grab wreaths and go lay on the headstones with the yellow dowel. So everyone else who would like to lay a wreath today may come up and do so at this time.